Is it the cocktail of all the unnaturals that have a profound effect on the early stages of development in humans? Soon people won't be able to make new humans anymore, but I guess that would be la and great. We can just design them in a lab. Well, interesting. Fun. We have a returning sponsor from back in the day. One of our
guys, thank you so much for joining me. John Soto, this is SotoCast. You're not going to see this clip anywhere else. I promise you that. Tim Dillon. Let's one go past the goalpost here. I'm a little disappointed, but we're going to call him out as we do. If you're here, please hit the subscribe button. That's all I ask.
Favorite sponsors ever, Sheath Underwear. Sheath Underwear of legends. And it's one of those legends. I love Sheath. It's all I wear. Created by U.S. Army soldier Robert Patton on his second tour in Iraq. Yeah, I mean, this guy went to Iraq twice. And I've met him personally at Skankfest. He's a good dude. He was actually one of the good soldiers, truly. He was leading a team that was digging a tunnel to help Iraqi children escape the war. And that's what we're going with. He successfully got a couple of thousand kids into the tunnel, and they were on their way out of the war zone when, unfortunately, there was an IED explosion above the collapse of the tunnel, and all the children died. And that is sad, and it's horrible. But the intent was good.
This is so funny because he's doing a commercial that he does. He has the Epstein, island, like temple behind him, and he's legit at this point. Like I don't know if he sees the hilarity in what he's saying right now. He's saying that there was all of these Iraqi children were supposedly killed in this tunnel that this guy was digging. Maybe they all ended up there. Maybe they all ended up at the island. I don't know. But Tim is usually on point, and he kind of missed this one. I'm a little bit disappointed. But it was actually a really good episode. He breaks down a ton. It's a total Epstein episode from beginning to end. And we need it because that's what's going on right now. He's one of the best at it. He really, truly is. And let's get into a little bit of what he's talking about here, and then we'll interject as always.
Free unless they win. That's right. Their fee is free unless they win. To learn more, go to forthepeople.com/TIM or click the link in the description below. That's forthepeople.com/Tim or click the link in the description below. This is a paid advertisement. Jeffrey Epstein also ordered 330 gallons of sulfuric acid, and we wanted to. And the day the FBI.
So, fun fact: after I heard about this, it's a very very simple Google search or any kind of search that you want to do. But I looked up the fact that with the amount that he ordered, would be enough. I think it was around 350 gallons of sulfuric acid would be enough to essentially disappear between 3 and 5 grown humans. So when people think, at first when I thought 350 gallons, I thought like you could probably, how many people could you disintegrate? I didn't know, so I looked it up. So looking at about 3 to 5 full-grown adults, or maybe 8 children. Perhaps. I mean, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about Epstein, so we have to take that into consideration. I also covered the Zorro Ranch, the fact that there was a couple of reports. I think Bitcoin was around $8,000 at the time because somebody was trying to sell some intel on the fact that in Zorro Ranch that person particularly had actual knowledge of 2 young girls that were killed during gruesome acts. They were actually choked to the point of where they were killed, and they were buried out there on Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. So you got all this stuff coming in. You have the sulfuric acid. I think it was the day after he got indicted. The day after he got indicted, or the day after investigation. I'm not exactly sure how that shaped up, but it was a crucial day for Epstein, and the order was made. That's from the reports that we're getting from the emails.
I opened an investigation into him. What can you do with sulfuric acid? You can do a lot of things. Can you get up uses for sulfuric acid? No, I mean literally, because we should give him the benefit of the doubt. Some people think he might have been ordering it to dissolve the bodies of people that he had killed. Fertilizer production. The largest use is producing phosphoric acid, which is used to make ammonium sulfate and phosphate fertilizers. So maybe he was making his own fertilizer for the island instead of buying fertilizer. Metal processing, pickling, used in the iron and steel industry to remove oxidation, rust, and scale from steel sheets and billets before coating. Maybe. Lead acid batteries, chemical manufacturing, petroleum refining, industrial cleaning and maintenance. Laboratory and industrial applications. Due to its high acidity and corrosiveness, it is a highly regulated substance requiring careful handling. Now, some people believe that they open this investigation into him and he goes, listen, I copped a sweetheart deal. Now, when did he get this? When they opened up the first one, or what? When was this? Do we know exactly when he ordered this? 2018? Now, this is after he made that sweetheart deal the first time. So he's saying to himself, I might be able to survive.
There's a couple. There's the body angle, which here's the thing. If you're ordering this stuff to compromise or to basically destroy electronics, there's going to be computers, there's going to be hard drives. I don't know why you wouldn't do that to documents, right? That stuff you would just burn. A lot of the things that people believe that you possibly could use it for, you could simply just use a fire. Like if you take a hard drive and you pour lighter fluid on it, light it on fire, it's going to be very difficult for somebody to recreate that, especially if it burns all the way through. You would really need sulfuric acid to do a lot of the things that you could suspect that he might do it for. The main thing you're using it for is for bodies. I mean, that seems very apparent to most people, and it doesn't seem like. I mean, it's getting a little bit of traction now, but it's kind of a big deal.
The sex trafficking angle of this, the intelligence communities will say it's not sex trafficking, and I'll be able to say I groped a 17-year-old again. I'm sorry, and we'll do another sweetheart deal. But then Ghislaine's probably like, but darling, we've killed all these people. And he's like, right, we did kill a lot. We killed a lot. So then he's going, well, we got to get rid of all these people we killed. We got to get rid of them. We got to burn. We got to dissolve them in acid.
So I'd be interested to see. I'm sure I'll do a check on it now and take a look. When he ordered the sulfuric acid, at what point did the raids happen? Right, because I know that the search warrant that was executed in Manhattan, I think coincided relatively close to the island. Those things happened kind of at the same time. I think it was the same team went from one to the other. And I'm familiar with individuals that did that. And so I'll check the dating on this, because I think it's just, I don't know if this is just one email, or there's usually a couple that kind of always say the same thing when you're going through the files. So I'd be interested to see like the purchase date, because obviously he was tipped off that the feds were going to be coming in, right? So I'm sure he knew that as a member of Intel, and them not wanting to mess up a lot of their intelligence. They probably gave the order, get out of Dodge. Anything that's like crucial, those, I'm sure there were kill switches in place that those things just got taken care of. And the sulfuric acid seems like maybe that was just one of the things that he needed for himself. I'm sure the Intel community took care of their stuff, but it seemed like, because if it's their intelligence, or if they're using it, or if they're gathering it for the purposes of themselves, he's not going to be too much worried about that stuff, because that's not going to really, be anything against him. If he's got bodies laying around that he needs to get rid of, that's kind of a problem. And I would think that on the island, it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal, right? That's not that big. The only place I can see where the acid would be utilized would probably be in the Manhattan compound, because that's not something where. It's not like they had a drive-in where they could just drive the car in. From what I can tell, like they had to walk into the house. The house had a front entrance. There really is no there's no garage that you pull into. Like I said, as far as I can tell, the New Mexican ranch, the Zorro Ranch, you could just bury somebody outside. I mean, it's a 1,200-acre ranch, and that 1,200-acre ranch with, I think, another like 5,000 or 6,000 acres that were leased around it. I mean, it was a massive complex. You're talking about around 8,000 acres where you don't have to worry about disposing of a body over there. So I'd be interested to see where the acid went to. Manhattan is the only place that really makes sense to me. If you're on an island, you throw them to the sharks, you're good to go. Remember that hatch that everyone's seen? You throw them in the sharks, you're good to go. No issues. Zorro Ranch, plenty of space. Manhattan, kind of an issue. Right? Somebody's going to see you in Manhattan walking out with a couple of bags, and all of that. Manhattan is extremely heavily surveilled. So in the event that, let's say they got a couple of bodies, they took them outside, they throw them in the trunk, they're all wrapped up, there is a chance that something might come back. Right? So that's where maybe this would come into play. Just speculation, like everything else, but kind of makes the most sense to me.
Because I might be able, and I bet this is what went through his mind. I think I'm right. He goes, I'll make another sweetheart deal. They'll just write me off as a creep. The intelligence side of this is going to protect the trafficking stuff. You got to remember the first time he's accused, there's like 200 victims, and he cops to touching one of them inappropriately during a massage. He's going, well, I'll just do that again. Here's the problem. He killed all these people. Darling, we killed all these people, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, you must deal with it, darling. Darling, we've killed them all, Jeffrey. We've got to kill them all. You've got to dissolve them now, darling. Burn them up. Dissolve them with acid, darling. So Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein spent decades trafficking young women, children, and everyone in between, and probably young men and boys and what God only knows. Allegedly. But they did all of this, and they were supposed to believe that but nobody died, nobody got killed. Jeffrey Epstein's ex, by the way, get her up, Karina, she said, he's not part of the Luciferian cult, but they do sacrifice babies. That's what she said on X. That's what his ex-girlfriend said. She said that. She goes, he's not even involved with that. You gotta love, by the way, nothing's better than like a woman who has a guy's back. He's not even involved with the Luciferian sacrifice to children. He got involved for money. This guy, this woman, Karina, who's Jeffrey Epstein's ex-girlfriend, literally is on X saying, yeah, he got involved with these people. They're in a cult, they sacrifice kids, but he was just trying to make money. He's not even involved with that. So this woman's coming out to defend this guy who I don't even know, is he dead? He might be dead. He might be dead, but maybe he's somewhere. Maybe he's in Russia. We don't know where he is. We don't know where he is. And now they're hating on Les Wexner. Why would they do that? Why would they hate on Les, owner of Victoria's Secret, the limited brands? They're saying he's a co-conspirator. He's an old guy, Les Wexner. He'll probably exit stage left soon, I would imagine. But you got to get up this tweet from Jeffrey Epstein's ex-girlfriend because it is so funny. It is just so funny. The Overton window on this stuff has now moved into like where it's like it's completely possible in polite society right now to say to yourself, "Oh wait, are they cannibals?" And you can say that now. You can say that now at a lunch. You don't have to feel any type of way of saying that at a lunch and bringing it up, going, "Well, did you see the tweet from his ex-girlfriend Karina, who says that they're actually a cult and they're sacrificing children? However, Jeffrey wasn't even involved in that. He was just in it for money. He was just in it for money." And you can tell your kids. I mean, that's a great story to tell your kids and say, if you prioritize money and you get involved with money, there will be a chance that you're running a human trafficking operation and that there are elements of that want you to procure children to be sacrificed to Baal. That's what happens when you prioritize money. That's why you should just do what you love. But that's the thing with Jeffrey Epstein, and this is also a problem. He did what he loved, and he was good at it. This is a real issue, and this is something to wrestle with. Now, obviously, he was evil, but the man was dialed in. The man was locked in. He was in a flow state. That's part of the problem here. Part of the problem is that this man was like perfectly suited for what he did. He was perfectly suited for what he did. He was not at all in some type of, like, this was not like an unnatural place for this guy to be. This guy this was the life he was meant to live. I don't know what that means. I don't know that that's good, but this is the life he was meant to live. I don't think he regretted anything either. I don't think he regretted it. I don't think Jeffrey Epstein regretted it. I'm not defending it. Do you have this tweet up? Now, this is this the tweet about the cult? Okay. Well, it is out there. We'll put it on in post. Tulsi Gabbard is being accused.
Yeah, man. The great Tim Dillon. Every single Saturday he comes out and he wrecks it as always. I'm gonna do a couple more clips. I know people can't watch the whole entire hour and change, so I'll give you guys a little bit of some snippets here and there. But you know, so that was essentially my take when I heard that acid thing was you know, it's kind of hard to get all the details out of it, but you know, we got to do a little bit more digging, see if the dates line up, see you know, when it comes to the raids and because it was FBI, NYPD, they were working with each other. I think it was the Southern District that went after him. So that's NYPD territory, you know, the apartment on 71st Street. And I think a couple of the guys actually went out to the island as well, just because they had just a massive amount of intel. And it's just crazy that all of this stuff has been buried for so long. There's still massive amount of stuff that's been buried and will never see the light of day ever again. I don't think anybody's going to be held accountable. He brings up a very good point later on in this, that essentially what's going to happen is this: whoever gets, you know, found out to be either in the files somewhat culpable, or, you know, they're getting dirty by the release. All that's going to happen is that they're already extremely rich, extremely powerful, and they're just going to transfer their wealth over to somebody else, so that, you know, you know, they'll resign from whatever board they're in. They'll get money funneled somewhere else through some other means. They'll say, sorry, you're in this file, so just go this way, make a left instead of a right. You're still gonna get all the same money. You're still gonna get all the same benefits. You're still gonna be in control as much as you were before. It's just that your name can't be associated with whatever. You can't be out there in the ether. You gotta reallocate, move some things around. But nothing's gonna happen. And I think that the majority of us know nothing's gonna happen, and that's why everyone's kind of going crazy. But yeah, fucking wild. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. 6283 Talk is my channel, is my account on X. Please hit the subscribe button. That's all I ask. Watch the great Tim Dillon every single Saturday. I am John Soto. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care.